Hey, what's going on, you guys? Today I want to make a video talking about the credit cards I use on a daily basis. And these are the cards that have also contributed to my 800 credit score that has benefited me massively when it comes to, applying and getting other credit cards. It's going to help me in future with loans and things like that. So your credit score matters a lot when it comes to, life in the United States. And I just want to cover the credit cards I currently use and some of the ones I'm eyeing up as well. But to start, I think at the age of 18, I got the Discover It credit card, as you can see on screen. And this is kind of like the de facto credit card that everyone recommends that you start with when you're young, because they don't actually require you to have a previous credit score in order to get one. So, it's hard to get a credit card out the gate when you're young because you don't have, a credit report or credit history yet. So a lot of credit card lenders don't want to give you a credit card, obviously, because you have no data and no track history, no track record. So Discover, it's one of the few companies that will actually provide a credit card to somebody who's young and doesn't have a credit report, just so they can get up and started. And I'm a big fan of zero fee credit cards, as you guys will see, and Discover It. This card has zero fee yearly, so you don't have to pay anything to hold this card, which is nice. It has a 1% flat cashback return on everything you purchase with the card, and it has up to a 5% cashback return on rotating categories. So every quarter, there's probably like 3 to 5 items that rotate every quarter for this card that'll get you 5% cashback return on those purchases. And you do have to manually go in and enable this every quarter. That seems to be the thing with like every card that has rotating categories. They don't automatically enroll you, so keep that in mind. You have to physically, manually go in and, set that up yourself. But you can get up to 5% cash back on certain purchases. That might be restaurants one quarter, it might be gas another quarter, or online sales purchases like on Amazon, or maybe Walmart or Target Superstore purchases specifically. It'll change per quarter, but you can get up to 5% on rotating categories, 1% on everything else. There is typically like a sign-up bonus or offer included in terms of if you sign up and get this card, usually within the first year, they will match pretty much everything you've spent for the first year in cash back. So then they'll match it, so you'll get double cash back for your first year. So that's one of the things they include to get you to initially sign up with the card. And a lot of cards come with, sign-up offers like that. But that's basically it for this card. Again, it's very basic. It's just meant to get your foot in the door when it comes to credit cards. And it's something I used at a very young age in high school to initially start building a credit report and a credit score. The next couple cards, I got 2 cards kind of back to back. The next 2 cards I got, which were probably 3 years later, the first being the American Express Blue Cash Everyday. Again, 0 annual fee. I liked it because it had some locked-in benefits. So what's permanent on the card is you get 3% cash back at U.S. supermarkets, which are like, just your mom and pop grocery stores. This does not include something like Walmart or Target or some big super center like Meijer. So keep that in mind, but you get 3% cash back at US, if you got local supermarkets or something, you'll get 3% on those. You get 3% at US gas stations. So anytime you fill up, this is kind of the card to use, unless, again, one of your rotating category cards gives you 5%. But this will give you 3% at US gas stations, and it will also give you 3% on US online retail purchases. So that's something also to keep in mind. And that is up to $6,000 per year in each category. And then it'll resort to 1% return, everything else. So what's common with these, cashback offers is they'll give you a dollar amount limit of what you can hit per year. So these 3% cashback categories for U.S. supermarkets, gas stations, online retail, up to $6,000 a year per category is what you can get in cashback returns, which, that is a lot. So, if you're spending more than that per year, you got to look at your budget, to be honest, because I've never hit that cap ever. And going back to Discover It too, Discover It combines, actually limits you to $1,500 in combined purchases after activation when it comes to those 5%. So I think that's on a yearly basis as well. So again, that's just things to kind of keep in mind, is they'll put caps on those things, but the likelihood that you hit the cap is kind of low, especially with $6,000 per year in each category when it comes to the American Express. This again resorts to 1% return after your 6% or after your 3% categories that you use, up to $6,000 a year, and no annual fee, like I mentioned. So, very good card to kind of graduate into after the Discover It card. Definitely recommend checking it out. The next one I got was the Chase Freedom Flex. Again, no annual fee or anything like that. Also had some rotating categories, but also some fixed categories, which I liked as well. So you can earn 5% cash back on quarterly rotating categories, just like the Discover It, up to $1,500 in combined purchases, just like the Discover It per year. So basically, same exact thing as Discover. They've just mirrored that. Every 3 months, you get a rotating set of categories that you can get up to 5% return on those purchases or cash back. And they limit you up to $1,500 just total for the year in cash back for those 5% categories. Then you also, for fixed categories, you get 5% back on travel booked through Chase Travel. So that's something to keep in mind. If you travel a lot, you can get 5% cash back through Chase Travel. 3% on dining in drugstores, which is really nice. I use this card every time I go out to like a restaurant because you get 3% on dining. And you could use this at drugstores like Walgreens or something like that and get 3% as well. And then 1% cash back on everything else. So a very good card, a lot of good benefits. And there might be actually some extra stuff like shopping perks, DoorDash benefits, things like that come with this card. So definitely check into those minor details. But a lot of times, with American Express and this card, they'll throw in extra, again, like perks and limited time benefits and things like that. So definitely keep your eyes out for those things. But those are, at least what I've covered, the stable things that are ingrained into the card that will probably never change. And then finally, my fourth card is the Citi Double Cash card. And the reason why I wanted this is it's exactly as simple as it sounds. It basically just gives you, instead of 1% on everything, it gives you 2% on everything that you purchase. You get 1% when you purchase something, and then another 1% when you pay. And this is just across the board, no matter where you are. And it's because, I just wanted a double cash card to fill in those gaps. If I'm buying something that's not on one of my quarterly rotations, or it's not for one of my categories that's built into one of my fixed categories for one of my cards, I wanted something that could cover the gap and get me a little bit more cash back. And again, no annual fee. So that's also very nice. You also could get some travel benefits with the Citi Double Cash. So again, that's something to keep in mind. A lot of times these points will consolidate in your Chase Travel, profile. So you can contribute more to paying for, airline tickets or things of that nature. So keep your mind on that as well, is that you can pair a lot of cards and get what they call trifecta cards to kind of combine perks and then contribute to total points, so that you might be able to use it on travel or other benefits of things of that nature. So there is a lot of benefit to getting a lot of cards under one company, because a lot of them are designed actually to work together to get you the maxed rewards. Sometimes they'll have an annual fee, sometimes they won't. It really depends on how much you'd use the card, and how much that would benefit you. Again, I don't like personally having a fee when holding onto a card. I just like the idea of not having to pay anything to have it. But definitely I'd be open to having a card if my needs, required it going forward, and if I thought the return was going to be worth it. Because a lot of times, the next step up annual fee cards, they'll be like $95 a year or something like that. So I definitely want to make sure that I get more than $95 worth of value every year, which probably wouldn't be that hard, especially if you're someone who travels a lot. But then going forward, I also want to look at probably the next one on my list is the Citi Cashback. It gives you 5% custom cash is what it's called, the Citi Custom Cash. And it gives you basically 5% on a select category that you spend the most on every month. And I think that allots you up to $500 a month that you can use on that. So it'll automatically see if let's say you use the custom cash just randomly across anything, it'll automatically pick whatever you've spent the most amount of money on, and it will give you 5% cash back on that specific category or store or whatever, up to $500 per month. There are some exceptions, like it doesn't work at like a Walmart or Supercenters or things like that. So definitely keep that in mind. You'll have to look into the fine details on what it's allowed what you're allowed to use that cash back or get that cash back for. So a lot, and that's a thing to look into for all these cards, right? All of them have fine details that you should look into on what will qualify, because a lot of times super centers are just excluded because you might see that Walmart has their own credit card where you can get 5% back on their purchases. So again, that's something to keep in mind, which again is another reason why I like the Citi Double Cash, because it allows me to go to a super center and at least get 2% back, on those purchases. But anyways, guys, that's what I got for this video. Those are my credit cards. Let me know what you guys use, if you use any of these, and if there's any others I should look out for. And yeah, that's all for now. Have a good one.